And so these mirror neurons are so powerful. And so you have the neurological network within the heart and the brain that syncs the two of them together, a phenomenon that has only been recently discovered, understood within ancient practices, i.e. Taoism. We sync the earth with the sun, booyah. Welcome to the consciousness of the way. My divine, delectable co-host, Jade, good morning.
Good morning.
And I am your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Quinn. Welcome.
Ooh.
What another magical day it is.
Yeah.
Being present in this moment. It's good to be me. And quite frankly, when you really understand the ramifications of just that spoken word, you will come to a realization that mimics and echoes through all the dimensions of your consciousness, and effectively what it does to the inner workings of your story and architecture of your life.
It's just good to be happy.
Yeah.
Feels good to be happy.
Yeah. Without question. That simplicity is, very reflectant on so many things that are going on unconsciously, that you are replicating by design within your life.
Mm-hmm. And it helps that we're together, live together, share space together all the time, because, I feed off of you, you feed off of me, we feed off our family. It's a beautiful environment.
And no, we are not cannibals.
No, yeah. We energy feel. I should use a different word than feed. But yes, we vibe. We vibe off each other.
Right. And understanding how critical that is to the sort of encompassing reality of what it means to be a product of your environment.
Mm-hmm. And you want to surround yourself with those people that excite you, vibe with you, lift you up, support you, make you want to be, your best self, in whatever context.
Right. And, understanding that you are, I am you, you are me.
Mm-hmm.
And that, whether we're here in this physical space or on the other side of the world, replicating the basic fundamentals of the quantum model, the quantum field, that, everything is instant, affecting change in the fourth dimension. Booyah. And I think that's important for how people understand, how you look at your reality, and the grandmother's famous old tale of, you are who you hang out with, grandson. You are who you hang out with, son. You are who you hang out with, period. And that has echoed over generation from generation, but understanding the real detail of what that means is kind of like the subject of our podcast today. Is the old expression, guilty by association.
You are the company you keep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, of course, we're moving into, a huge mechanism that really helps people understand how powerful you are individually and what you can do when you acquire the consciousness and your ability to manifest, to heal, to transform your reality through this level of awareness, and how to do it, right? And so, a group environment is kind of like, sort of like you can reflect on that as a human being in a crowd, and you sense a rippling effect that takes place, whether you're at a concert, at a stadium, basically hustle and bustle of a city. There's an ebb and flow that takes place that is an unspoken word, but it's a synergy, an energy that is second to none, because that syncing, what we call, a collective thought process, a collective feeling, and understanding that we're all interconnected from the quantum model, is crazy. I mean, you go to places all over the world, and I do this. It's like, if you go to any sort of place, foreign to America, Asia, Europe, whatever, and you look at what you believe is insanity. You get in a car, you go driving, and you honestly don't know how you make it from point A to point B, because there's just looks like complete mayhem on the road. Yet it's like this flow that's undeniable. And I would say, if we reflect on that, say something like the hustle and bustle of a big city, like New York City would be a good one, where there's just so much going on, so many people in such a confined space, yet it just works.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an understanding that it works. And there's a realization that you move with the traffic, and it starts with one fire starter that just creates a congestion, or vice versa. If someone is moving, the other person moves, and they replicate this response, an unspoken response to the circumstance, the situation, the environment, which is what we speak on with epigenetics, the flow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the critical aspect of understanding, the guilt by association, you are who you hang out with, expression that goes on and on and on. Grandma, parents, I don't want you hanging out with Johnny because he's a bad influence. And influence is literally what that means. And understanding how much your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions influence you and influence others around you instantaneously.
Yeah. And I think even deeper
Mm-hmm.
on like just a cellular level or a physical level, like coming from a background of like playing women's sports
Mm-hmm.
and being on a sports team, I always remember you knew we were together all the time. And it's like, you knew that time of the month
Mm-hmm.
because everyone had it together.
Right.
And it was like being in that environment where
Mm-hmm.
I was on a team every single day. It was like our cycles would start aligning with
Mm-hmm.
one another.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, even completely unconsciously, it would just happen.
Well, of course, it's an unconscious thing, but I mean, let's go into that, you know, and understanding how that actually takes place and why what we do in teaching these ancient practices are so profound in shift to change of anybody's state and putting them in a place of manifestation, a place of magic, a place of healing instantaneously within the quantum model, the field, and being aware of that, because that's all it takes to create that shift that we're talking about, that 4-minute mile, understanding that if it's done once, it can be done again, and that's realization of the individual that takes place when that mechanism is clicked to that level of consciousness and understanding that if you can do it, I can do it. And then that rippling effect is so profound. Now let's look at it from the dynamics of electromagnetic fields and what that means within you as an individual, and then your connection with the universe. That, you know, the classic one we always talk about, all is one, one is all. And so, you know, Jade is talking about how, you know, in a group environment, when you were in team sports at school or in college, you would get into a state where everyone hung around each other so much that they started synchronizing the ebb and flow of the chemistry within their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Right back to you are who you hang out with. Grandma was really wise, right? You know. And so, you know, we look at the human being, we take it from a cellular level. And so there's been some incredible breakthroughs in helping people understand what we do as a mystical, magical, profound ancient practice that's been going on and being handed down from generation to generation for thousands of years within Taoism, that has worked through and through and been cultivated and generated to a level of ancient wisdom that goes beyond anything other than your intuition, and realizing how powerful this vehicle is to synchronize yourself for instant change and manifestation, where you are able to shift your consciousness so that you can obtain something that would normally be considered superhuman or beyond even your imagination, but it's able to be transformed into matter within this experience, this three-dimensional reality, by shifting into a fourth-dimensional reality. Holy moly. And so that synchronicity and that syncing that Jade is talking about, understanding how we are just the product of our environments, leaning on the epigenetic model of your thoughts change your reality. You can switch on and off your gene expression with your thoughts alone. Booyah. And it's really that simple. And it's simple when you understand, and what we talk about over and over and over again, third person, first person, no person, jump to the fourth dimension, transformation, collapsing of time and space. You are the magnet to your reality. You draw everything to you like a fly to doo-doo, right?
Yeah.
It's like, this sounds so magical and mystery-driven in a state that you couldn't possibly think that this is anything other than a script for a Harry Potter movie. But it is not. And it has been validated.
It has been. Yeah, like they've had studies, I mean, at least 30 years ago, where they would take a family who had a rare genetic disease, mm-hmm. and they would adopt like a child who had mm-hmm. completely different genetics from a different part of the world, and that child would grow up and develop that genetic disease, and in their DNA they could see the genetic, patterns forming, even though they weren't biologically conceived from those genetics, just living in that environment.
Very, very interesting. Mm-hmm. What a great point to be made. As Jade is speaking on that and understanding of this incredible miracle find, it's taken place over the last 20 or 30 years. I think it was in the early 90s that this was discovered. And understanding how powerful the human body is.
Yes.
And, we have, basically billions of cells in the body, and they run at a 0.7, I think it's 0.07 millivolt per cell. And if you've got billions, let's just say, I think it's 30, 40 billion, and you run those all at the one time, you have trillions of trillions of amplitudes of energy from one source. If you were to collectively put that together, you're looking at a walking bomb. That's how much energy the human body can cultivate and generate. And so from a cellular level, from basically a subatomic level, we're getting right down into the nitty-gritty of what we're speaking on today in relation to the whole collective, the group collective of what happens when you are a product of your environment. And this is where things get really, really supernatural, guys, because understanding that in the 90s, when this was discovered, when we were finally able to, the scientific community, yes, that's right, big brain on Brad. I'm very grateful that you guys came to this revelation. Always remember this. All these discoveries are a scientific interpretation to make sense of what Taoists have been doing for thousands of years, and for them to validate it in their conscious mind, because it's so, mind-blowing, that the idea that you can synchronize yourself with the quantum, synchronize yourself with the universe, synchronize yourself with Buddha, God, whatever frequency it is, because everything is energy, frequency, vibration, and affect actual tangible change within a three-dimensional reality, blows people's minds. And it comes in the form of manifestation, it comes in the form of physical healings, it comes in the form of magic. This is where it perplexes someone with an analytical mind. And so they have spent quite some time working out this synergy that we have with the universe, and understanding that we're all one is all, this interconnection component, and how much these mechanisms make such a fundamental difference to your perception, your consciousness, your awareness, and how you, the individual, your empowerment is instantaneous to be at a state where you can affect change and be the master keeper creator of your reality.
Yeah, no, it's so powerful. Just thinking back to, you were talking about how much energy we have. It's like if you've ever rub your hands together and then somehow you touch someone else and they get shocked.
Get a charge.
They get a charge and a shock,
right.
Or it's like that.
And that amplitude,
and
that amplitude is regulated by this incredible gift called the human body, and that, you're able to regulate all this energy. Now, if we pushed it and compacted all together, we would have a huge explosion. But no, this is this incredible gift from the Tao, from God, from Buddha, from universe, that is able to regulate this energy, this ebb and flow within the physical body. Now, that's what chi is. That's what energy is. Understand that. That's what we do when we work with Nigong, which is moving energy with your mind, Qigong, which is moving energy with your breath. This is how we do it. You master the skill. First, you create the framework, which is what we do with the Way 126 experience. We create the framework so that you are no longer a slave to your emotions. You are the master to your emotions. Your emotions don't control you. You control your emotions. Understanding that this is a catalyst for change. If you want to shift your consciousness, the base level things are critical to your understanding of how these mechanisms work, because with these mechanisms, you create the perfect synergy, the perfect alignment that is necessary for you to obtain your wildest imaginations and turn it into your reality.
Yeah, it's like every house has a foundation. Whether it's a mansion, whether it's a small house, whether it's a beach house, whether it's a house built a tree house, every house has to have some type of a foundation. And the way 126 is your foundation. Then we give it to you and let your imagination build the rest. You want a house built out of balloons? Great. A house built with slides going down? It's unlimited to you.
Right. And the important thing, the most important thing, is it's the charge, guys. Mm-hmm. So what the way 126 does is it primes you to create the alignment within your heart and your brain. Your brain is electric, your heart is magnetic. You create the electromagnetic signaling, which is the synchronization, which is 0.1 hertz. And once your heart is synced to 0.1 hertz, your brain immediately syncs to 0.1 hertz. Why is that? Because you have the same neurological network in your heart and your brain. Your heart is your little brain. Your brain is your big brain. And when you synchronize those, you create the flow that syncs you with the quantum, which is infinite possibilities. And then that is the spark, is your imagination. And once you get that supercharged, that kinesthetic response that comes from the way 126, a visual and audible experience creating a kinesthetic response, that is your Death Star moment. That is when you are able to go, poof, manifestation, whether it's audible or inaudible, put it into the field, it will come to an equal to or greater than, and blammo, magic. That's in essence the fundamentals of what we're talking about. And that's why the way 126 is so powerful, because it gives you that moment so that you can really be absent or void of your identity. Because the identity component is the roadblock for 99.999% of people, is that it's a concept. I can speak on so many things and understanding and give you different angles always to Sunday about how these things work and the inner workings of it. I can give it to you from the Taoist perspective. I can give it to you from a physicist perspective. I can give it to you from a psychologist perspective. I can give it to you from an energy healing perspective. I can give it to you from the layman's perspective. These are all concepts, guys. That's why I always say the truth is only what you believe. And for you to validate it and for it to be true to you, you must feel it. And when you feel it, then that's your Death Star moment. That's your opportunity to affect change within your fourth dimension. And you become absent. And to do that, it's important that you understand that as long as you have identity, you'll always fall short of this synchronicity. And when you sync your heart, you sync your brain, you sync your gut, which in turn is two of the same, because the signal from your brain goes down to your gut, which is an indicator when you create that perfect synergy of 0.1 hertz. That's the secret sauce, guys. Mm-hmm. That's the magic. And that's been validated. Now, I keep referring to this because this is stuff that we translate into ancient text and ritual that's been going on for thousands of years. And there's been a few people that have gone to the trouble of, isolating masters and gurus and ancient Taoist priests, Buddhists, whatever you want to call it. And they've been able to study the neurology of these individuals when you get high states of consciousness. I'm in gamma all day, every day, baby. And when I want to see change, I feel it. And when I feel it, I don't even have to see it. But this is also a level of advancement that will come with the individual. But I always remind people, if you can't feel it, you can't see it. If you can't see it, you can't create it. Booyah, you need to be in a state of nothing. And so, you were going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, I think that's what people kind of struggle with the most. They go, what does that mean? Help me. What's nothing?
So let me break it down for you in a better way. You're already there. Mic drop. Sifu, what did you just say? Did you just say I'm here already? Yes. When you're absent of your personality, when you're absent of emotion, which equals disturbance, you're there. You're in the field right now. You're 1,000% in the field. You are experiencing it this second that I am talking to you right now. That supercharge you're getting, that level of awareness, that consciousness that clicked up 2 clicks and went, blammo, what the heck? I'm in the field right now. You're in it. And you can reach out and touch somebody and affect the change that you want. But you don't want it. You know it. And that's the difference. And so, absent of your identity and understanding that it's all it takes, that you're in the field is running. So what happens is you're experiencing this simulation, and that's been sort of in concept being thrown around for quite some time. Let's look at it as this. You're in the field. Everywhere your eyes go, old expression, where your thoughts go, the energy flows. Anywhere your eyes go, you are shifting wave to particle, matter to energy, energy to matter, particle to wave. So this is the Grand Master shooting from here to here to here, and whatever you put your attention to, intention to, the energy will flow, and you construct whatever you want. Oh, booyah. Are you telling me that I have it right now? I have the magic. I have the secret sauce. I can do it right here, right now. Shazam. Yes, I am. And the only difference is being able to deconstruct the fundamentals where you are in a duality, separating your parts, separating your brain, and basically putting yourself in an incoherent state. And these things are all reflectant of how you perceive your reality, and that's why we level you up on your consciousness. We level you up, and as you level up through the dimensional shift in your consciousness, which is reflected of your consciousness by mentioning and realizing that your consciousness is nothing more than your perception of the dimension, and that's all it is. Boom.
And I think getting back to that like group collective, it's very easy to kind of separate into that nothingness when you're within a group of, you know, like-minded people all vibrating at the same thing, whether it's like at church, you're in that group, or in a choir, or like even just at a yoga class. Like it's always more power, like how I'm doing the same moves of yoga, but why do I feel so much more connected when I'm in my class environment with other people than doing it in my bedroom?
Right. And you know, I mean, that's it. The yoga class, the church, whatever. If you were to observe it from a psychologist perspective, they would call it a psychodynamic loop, understanding that interconnected, and you've created a rapport that is a rippling effect. Now, how does that take place, Sifu? Blammo, are you asking me how it takes place? Okay, well, let's get down to it. Because your thoughts change your reality. Epigenetic model. Refer to it. Your environment, you are subject to your environment. So, as we were referring back to, as Jade alluded to, and I'm referring back to, in the 90s, huge discovery, understanding how your DNA is affected by the environment that you're in, the thoughts that go through your mind. And that's why we talk about visionary, because when your brain, again, we refer to, your brain doesn't know the difference between something you imagine and something that you experience within this reality. It's the same charge, the same energetic charge. And now we refer to what we call mirror neurons. Oh. And so that is the key element of understanding the interconnection and the rippling effect that takes place when you are in a group environment, when you are at church, when you're in a crowd. And the old expression, mob mentality, that is absolutely 1,000% part of how this takes place, because the seed that is necessary is the thought. The thought from your mind will shift, and it's under a microscope, guys, I have referred to you and given you an understanding that, guess what? Your DNA, that is the sum of this whole body, the gooey stuff inside you, is your DNA strand. Your DNA strand is basically a battery. You can store up to 700 terabytes of information in one strand of DNA. Oh, yeah, you can actually put one strand of 700 bytes of information on your fingertip. Yeah. So imagine what this whole body is made up of and how much information you could store that you're receiving on a picosecond basis, thousands, hundreds of thousands per day, shaping and molding your reality. That's why we talk about, when you're in a childlike state, the perfect place of change, because your brain is porous, because you're rippling in that theta alpha stage, and you've got that gamma consciousness that gives you the super brain on Brad and the porous of basically anything will enter, anything will absorb, everything will be created within your mind because your unconscious is open to it. And we're bridging the gap between the conscious and unconscious. And so this mirror neuron miracle discovery is basically, we have that in each other. Everyone has their own. And so it is reflectant of that. So when you are interconnected, you can ripple and change, as I've mentioned and referred back to, wherever your thoughts go, the energy flows. You are now in the field. You're in the field. Wherever your eyes go, you are affecting change and taking wave and turning it into particle, energy into matter. This is being constructed. So then you take the seed of your thoughts and what you're thinking, what you're creating in your mind, and if you transfer that out into the field with that coherent frequency that we talk about, heart and brain, in that 0.1 hertz frequency, aligning yourself with the field, booyah, shoot it out there, manifestation, bam, healing, bam, magic, bam. These are all the fundamentals of how you are able to manifest your reality. And so these mirror neurons are so powerful. And so you have the neurological network within the heart and the brain that syncs the two of them together, a phenomenon that has only been recently discovered, understood within ancient practices, i.e. Taoism. We sync the earth with the sun. Booyah. That's how it works. I don't need to go into the fundamentals. I use it because it helps someone have a different lens point of what's going on. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, it's face value to me. I know. I am taught how to do these rituals, how to create the ability to cultivate this energy. And that's it. I'm not looking in to the inner workings, because I know this is magnificent. I know this is a gift from the Tao. I know this is all powerful and all encompassing. One is all is one. This is what you have been given, and that's the inner workings, the neurological pathways that you use within your physical body to generate the energy to affect change in the field.
Yeah, and just coming from like an anecdotal story, my dad grew up in like inner city Detroit in the 50s. Mm-hmm. Wasn't the best environment, and he was 5'2" at 16. Mm-hmm. And he had an opportunity with his brother to move out to California. Moved out to California, came out here, and by the time he graduated high school, he was 17. He was 5'11", and he always said, the reason I know I didn't grow is I was just living in fear all the time. And like, he didn't have any, scientific understanding of how all of this worked, but just intuition. Just on his intuition, it was like that environment and that epigenetic kind of community that of this location mm-hmm. was limiting him on a cellular and physical mm-hmm. level to fully develop. And then when that changed and opened up, it was a completely instant thing. And
I mean, that you're talking about that product of your environment, right?
Exactly.
And so, that brings me to the understanding of the DNA strand, and it is a database. It's basically a memory stick, we could say. So you have this ability to store information, which they've literally, I think back in 2000, early mid 2000s, there was a Japanese physicist that was able to store actual data, ones and zeros, on a strand of DNA, and was able to be interpreted and understanding. And he was putting the code of Albert Einstein, E equals mc squared, into a strand of DNA. That means that's in there for we're blood brothers for life. So what does that really mean, Sifu? Well, let me explain this to you. Being a product of your environment, realizing that you are taking in information on basically an unconscious level, and it is permeating. So it's permeating your DNA. Your DNA is being affected by your environment. Your intention, my intention, can alter the DNA around us. And if you understand the inner workings, the mechanics of how to get to a state of consciousness that affects change, you can alter and manipulate anything and everything around you at will. Blammo. So those mirror neurons are used quite frequently in relation to mimicking a response from someone else. Now, if you're someone who likes to use persuasion, you are effectively using those mirror neurons to replicate and get a response from someone that you are in turn creating in your mind and turning into a realization to an event, place, person, or thing. That is a quantum model right there. That is affective change right there. That is a level of consciousness right there, yet people would not associate with that. So they get their glimpse, they get their taste, it's there for a second, and blammo, it's gone. How do you know that? I'll give you one. Shake my hand. That's all it takes. You are in the quantum. You are present. You are shifting particle to matter. Particle to wave, wave to particle, matter to energy. And that's your intention instantly. So how quickly can you do it? We've compartmentalized things and regressed so much. That coherence that you create within the brain and the heart, merging everything as one. And to obtain this level of consciousness, to jump into the fourth dimension, which is basically void of time and space, and you are the magnet drawing your future to you, drawing anything and everything to you at will with your intention alone, understanding the epigenetic model that you are the product of your environment, that your thoughts change your reality, you switch on and off your genes with your thoughts alone, and that you are altering your DNA strands with your thoughts, moving your attention to anything. That's where your thoughts go, the energy flows. This is what's taking place on a second-by-second basis, ladies and gentlemen. But when you disassociate yourself from the place, person, or thing is when you affect change. Unfortunately, we have identity issues as human beings, and the brain is not coherent. You have to create the coherence, which is void of the emotion, entering the virtue, which creates the 0.1 hertz that is necessary to link the brain and the heart and the gut, which is really a mirror of the brain, which is a mirror of the heart, which is using that neurological network that synergizes the two, and the mirror neurons are right there, and that is how you affect a group environment. And when you have someone that you are in a crowd with, and they stand up and they get on their pulpit or whatever it is, their soapbox or whatever it is, and you have a crowd of attention of people that are watching you or listening to you, you can effectively affect the change and the rippling effect of your audience, because their attention is on you, your information is going out, you're speaking your word, and you're creating these thought forms that are entering into your DNA, altering the DNA as we speak, second by second basis, real time, which is affecting the chemistry in your body right there. And that's the mirror neuron stuff. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you've ever been to like a football game or a soccer game, and like the whole crowd like 50,000 people does the wave. You know what I mean? And like you watch it go around and you're like, how is everyone doing this
Synergy.
all at once? And like, it's kind of, I don't even know. I don't even think anyone knows how it happens. It's like someone just kind of starts it.
Well,
and
they
then
just got,
yeah.
they just got the answer, but yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? They just started and it just goes and it's like, wow, you know,
and so therefore we go into empath. We've heard the empath word. Empath. I'm an empath. I feel your pain, my brother. I feel your hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's because what happens is, and they've done the research on this, Jade and I understand, we teach people how to cultivate that energy. Remember those billions of cells. Remember the trillions of volts of energy that your own physical body creates instantly. Kaboom. Understanding that you're feeling this is because, remember, we were reflected back to the brain doesn't know the difference between something that you are imagining or something that you actually experienced in a three-dimensional reality. You can affect that change by just creating the spark. Mm-hmm. This is part of how the mirror neurons work, is that you are interconnected as of the quantum physics model, understanding the epigenetic model, understanding that, realizing that everything is interconnected. You're the product of your environment. Your thoughts change your reality. And guess what? You are now interconnected with that person. And that person is you're going to feel what they feel. They're going to feel what you feel instantly. Blammo. And all of a sudden, you have a psychic ability that you never realized you have. And it's really a refinement of a clear sense that is instantaneous. Now, you can't unsee what I've just said. So now you have shifted your consciousness right here, right now. Turn the dial up. Blammo. It's happened.
You're welcome.
And you're welcome. And so that inner working and that neurological pathway that you use, and then you're interconnected, we're all interconnected with the field, and to shift to that gamma state, to shift to that 0.1 hertz that synchronizes you. Now let's do this. I'm going to throw this out here. I put it out before, but let's go. I talked about this within this 111 symbolism that I've come across that is not reflectant of Taoism, but in a way it is, because we understand there's three components. There's always the three energies. It's either light, information, and energy. Energy, light, information. It's all collective, right? And these are the trio that we talk about is supreme purity, J purity, highest purity, which are the three pure ones within Taoism. These are reflected and basically symbolic to this information, this energy, this frequency, and this is always going on all the time. It's not symbolic. They embody these things. We embrace them within our practices and with our cultivation, and it works within the system that generates what it is. But there is a synchronicity, there is an unspoken understanding about this three component, this sequence of 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1. There it is. Let me explain it to you. When you sync your heart at 0, 1, and you sync your brain at 0, 1, guess what? What does the earth operate at what frequency? 0.1 hertz. So when you sync your brain, you sync your heart, and then you are now in line with the earth, which when we reflected on understanding the Shen within Taoism, or something that's more recognizable, the concept of mentalism, all is one, one is all, everything is within the brain. So the universe is in the brain, out of the brain. You are everything. You are aligned with the quantum. You are the quantum. The quantum is here right now. Guess what? 1, 1, 1 is you being at all with one, one with all. Right. And so every time I share this with people that use this symbolism within their own practices, their head explodes. Mm-hmm. Because there are a lot of different interpretations of what it means to them. And guess what? The truth is only what you believe. Your truth is the only truth, the most important truth. And this is part of the reason why we reiterate this, is understanding that your thoughts change your reality, that your thoughts are interconnected with your DNA's response, and that when you are attached to an emotion, which is a disturbance, it has a fundamental effect on your DNA. If you attach yourself to anger, anger will take your DNA strand and curl it up into a tight ball, in essence, continue pushing and break that strand. And if you actually take the virtue of anger and you are at one with everything, peace, patience, understanding, your DNA strand expands. It almost straightens and it starts to multiply. This is under a microscope. Now, we understand this. Mm-hmm. Fundamentally, we understand this within our rituals and our practice, but there's also this understanding of this coherence that takes place, and this is why we always talk about you must feel it, because when you feel it, that is your register of realizing that you are producing the brainwaves right now to create and affect change within the quantum model, understanding you are there, right now. This is your Death Star moment to blammo, manifestation, blammo, healing, blammo, magic, whatever it is that you want to create in your mind and transfer into this three-dimensional reality, make it happen now.
Yeah. It's like if anything, it's like if you want to teach somebody how to play basketball or how to make a free throw, you can give them all these concepts. You can tell them what it's like to dribble a ball. You can do it. But until they've actually held a basketball before, dribbled it, made that first free throw and felt that, then they start going, okay, now I can get into bigger concepts and more understanding. So this is just that base level that once you guys really start feeling it, a lot of these larger concepts and bigger kind of ideas will start clicking so much easier when you get there.
Right. And I mean, this is exactly right. What Jade is saying is understanding that, let me kind of get comfortable here, is understanding that function is all inner workings of a bigger system. And we have the answers, guys. Mm-hmm. And so, the lost mysticism, I use these fundamentals of physics to help you understand what we do all day, every day within these ancient rituals, these ancient practices that have been handed down for generation for thousands of years and have been working for Taoists for thousands of years. We've implemented it, created it, put it into a contemporary offering of an ancient practice, mastering yourself. Change comes from within, and guess what? All of that is encapsulated into the experience, creating a visual, audible, and the ultimate kinesthetic response, which is the solidified, telling you that you don't even have to think about it. You are at the Death Star moment. The second you feel it, you're there. Put the information out, which everything is information. And on a side note, if we go back to the DNA strand, they came to a realization that linguistics and words are absolutely fundamentally necessary because they are integrated into this DNA strand that was discovered by physicists over 20 or 30 years ago. That means that linguistics are also powerful. So when we talk about incantations, affirmations, mantras, you need to realize you are imprinting your thoughts, your consciousness, your information into that. It's going into the field. It's going into your tissue. It's altering your DNA. It's fundamentally affecting you because you are the product of your environment. Your thoughts change your reality. You switch on and off your genes with your thoughts alone. This is big, guys. This is an understanding you must realize, and that's why the spoken word is so powerful. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter what languages it is. It will imprint into your DNA and effectively change your ecosystem. It will effectively change. You'll be either aligned or misaligned. That will be determined by you. And so when you speak on something, realize that you're affecting change instantaneously. When you look at something, realize you're affecting change instantaneously. When you imagine something, you're affecting change instantaneously within the field, altering your DNA, using your mirror neurons to affect the environment around you, place, person, or thing. It's being altered instantly.
And this goes back to that epigenetic thing, wanting to surround yourself with people like-minded, positive mindsets.
I believe that
all of that.
I would concur. I would believe that is true. I want you to understand, though, we're not pushing away from the idea of emotions create the disorder. Understand this. Do not be afraid. Fear will always put you in a place that's like, you don't want to hang out with that person because they've got bad habits and they're going to rub off on you. You have just basically proclaimed that is what's going to happen to you. You are sending it to your unconscious. You are sending it to your neurology. You're sending it to your DNA as a spoken word, and you are manifesting it in your reality. Remember, your truth is the only truth that is necessary, the only truth you need to believe. That is it. You are using the intricate neurological network within this incredible ancient frickin' high-tech tool we call the human body, the neurology, and the fact that it encompasses everything beyond anything else, and it is a vehicle for your consciousness, because spirit is spirit, consciousness is consciousness, and this is just nothing more than a vehicle. So we need to preface that with the understanding that when you master your emotions, which is what the Way 126 experience does, is it puts you in that entry level of instant manifestation, instant healing, instant magic. Whatever you want to do, create it in your mind and put it out to the field. The kinesthetic response makes it valid to you, and that's the validator that's so important. That's why we talk about the thought, the feeling, and the emotion. And this is how we encapsulate every second of every minute of every hour of your day. And that is how you create the truth in what it is that you believe. So understand the rippling effects of everything that we're talking about today and the product of your environment, and that you are who you hang out with, as Jade has referenced, and that synchronicity that takes place is a group thing. That psychodynamic loop that we talk about from a psychologist's perspective, that's a group thing. That's just your interconnection. That's your mirror neurons firing off from each other. Understanding your thoughts also change your DNA and change anyone's DNA around you. So wherever your thoughts go, the energy flows. Wherever you're looking, you are shifting the wave to particle. You are materializing it into matter. You are taking it and transforming it. You are in wave right now. Everything people call it invisible, I see it. It's a level of development, a level of consciousness. It's a level of clear senses that you acquire through your own journey. Just so happens I could teach you that. But other than that, if you don't want to even understand that, the whole point of it is take things at face value. Understand that you are right here, right now. We give you the tools. You hit play. You transform. You create new synapses in your brain that creates information energy highways that you build on. Every day you do it, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, that you can manifest and cultivate that energy. And that's that energy that we're talking about, because that's the life force, guys. The Jing, the life force, the Qi, the energy, and then you're able to master moving it up in and around your neurology so that you can then project your thought forms, your energy, anything out into the field, out into limitless, infinite, abundant, endless possibilities. Just thought I'd say, just saying,
No, I mean, it's all of these things are just more layers on more layers on more layers to shift and open and expand your perspective and consciousness, and
And your validation is that feeling, because you are a human being that has introspective, analytical, cynical default, which is your primal instinct, and that can be shifted, changed, because you're now aware of it. We're bringing your attention to it. Booyah, you've shifted your unconscious to consciousness instantly. That's all it takes to mimic it. That's why you can watch something, right, on TV. You can go to an event and you are literally in it. You are experiencing something that someone else is doing. You are feeling it, because your attention goes to that. You tap into their neurology. You tap into their DNA. You tap into their mirror neurons, and they are sending it instantly back to you under the quantum model. That's why you're like, I'm so emotional. I went to a movie. It was this Hollywood movie about this person dying, and I just want to cry. Because it's evoked it within you, because you're replicating the information that's being sent from the movie, and your rippling effect of all the emotions and thoughts and everything else are being encapsulated within your own physical body, which is a vehicle within the neurology that is being shifted by thoughts alone.
It's like a scary movie too.
Oh, yeah.
How people are like, they like jump as if, the person, obviously, they're not going to come through the screen, but it's like, that feeling is there.
And so understand that also evokes the chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have the hormonal cascades, the alchemical response from that. So you can keep playing this out for yourself. You like scary movies. There is a mastery to that, right? I've been doing this 30 years. I can very easily shift into high gamma, affect change within the fourth dimension, altering this third dimension at will. Now understand, that's just practice. That's why we teach you this. This is why this app was developed, so that you have the tools to acquire that Shazam moment, and it develops and continues to get stronger and stronger and stronger every second of every minute of every hour. A thought, emotion, and a feeling encapsulated, boom, kinesthetic response gets you where you need to be, the Death Star moment, affect a change within the quantum field, understanding that affects change. When you keep repeating stuff, if you're not developing a skill, yet you keep evoking the same response, and you're imprinting, you are imprinting. You are imprinting. Your intention, your brain doesn't know the difference. You're imprinting this into your DNA. You're imprinting this into your field, your electromagnetic field. Remember this. Thoughts are electric. Emotions are magnetic. And so all these things are taking place. And there's always a polarity. Until you are absent of the duality. And that can happen instantaneously. And it comes from your synergy that affects that high gamma state of change within this three-dimensional reality by being absent of your identity. I don't want to sound like a cliche, because all these people keep reiterating it, and they just go, yeah, just be one with the universe. Be one with all. That's all you need. And I have people coming to me all the time over the years and years, all the time, every day, going, man, I've been buying this stuff from these people with this rhetoric of the simplicity of it. I understand the concept. I got it. And I would just say, you ain't got it. And they're like, what are you talking about? Show me. I'm a show me guy.
Yeah.
Show me. I want to see it. I want to see your manifestation. I want to see your magic. I want to see your healing. When you witness a healing real time, when you're affecting change within that field, when you are absent of your identity and you feel that supercharge, that gamma frequency between 100 and 200 hertz, I know, you sweat like a and you are feeling it throughout every cell in your body. That brainwave is a brainwave of change, and you are like this epicenter. All the cells, the billions of cells that turn into trillions of cells of energy is what is being conducted in your body, and you become this nuclear source of change, energy, frequency, vibration. When you're able to cultivate that and then shift it into a fourth dimension reality, bring it back to the third, affecting change, you will see cellular change immediately. And this has been seen under the microscope. We refer to it when it comes to water. People imprint their intention and their emotion, energy, frequency, vibration into water. You're watching the molecules change before your very eyes under a microscope. There is no difference within the DNA. That's exactly what happens to the DNA. That is what's going on. When you hear the old expression, don't give that person, they're giving me the evil eye, there's a rippling effect to that. Yeah. So understand that your karma is constructed within your reality. That's why I always say the truth is only what you believe. It's so critical, guys, for you to understand that your truth is the only truth, and that will be the construct of your reality. Your perception of your reality, your consciousness will be determined about what you truly believe in the core of you. And so if you believe and you are superstitious and you have that framework, you will draw that to you. You're the magnet. You will bring that to you. And if you're not prepared to understand how to diffuse that from entering your DNA, diffuse that from entering, affect a change within your field, you're going to get a lot of hurt. You're going to feel it because you're constructing that reality. Your wildest imagination will become your reality. Your wildest fears will become your reality. Your wildest dreams will become your reality. Your wildest infinite possibility, as you are present with no identity within the field, collapsing time and space, will draw that to you, affecting change within a three-dimensional reality. Blammo.
Yeah, and I think it's also important that like it goes both ways all the time. So it's like if you've been in an environment that's maybe been very negatively charged, you can easily shift that DNA, shift the thoughts and linguistics
instantly
the other way.
Instantly.
And it also goes the other way. If if you're positive and you had a traumatic event happen and all of a sudden now you look at everything very negatively, or that's starting to be ingrained, it can also shift back the other way. So it's like this pendulum that is always shifting.
That's a great point, Jade. It's a pendulum if you choose to accept it. This is why I always bring you back to the truth is only what you believe. If you operate in a duality, this will always be, you'll be subject to that. Mm-hmm. So the pendulum is only the pendulum if you accept it as your reality, if you accept it as it is. I operate in a singular fashion. My reality is all is one, one is all. And I'm in the field all day, every day, baby. I operate in gamma all day, every day. And when I want to see significant shift and change in my reality, well, we amp that gamma up now. We create a brainwave that is consistent with that 100 to 200. But I'm going to give you a news flash right here, right now. That is just the beginning. That's only what they've registered. Now, that 100 to 200 hertz is what they've coined as lambda. And it's going to keep going because I know I've been at higher frequencies that are, I'm literally melting on the inside out, guys. And this is also reflective of understanding how to harness and control the energies, which is what normally happens within martial forms. People get obsessed with the energy and they're all yang, all day, every day, and that energy will burn your fuse out if you don't know how to harness it and basically encapsulate everything. So you can, when you're at a consciousness that is in void of this three-dimensional reality, you're able to regulate at will because instantly whatever it's in here, you take your thoughts and turn it into reality. You affect change, place, person, and thing, energy, spirit, and God, matter, chi, and spirit instantly. Think it, and it is done. Think it, healing is done. Think it, manifestation is done. Think it, magic is done. That's how it works. And I have just trained myself to be absent of my identity, that I'm able to shift into that conscious level all day, every day. And that is part of the mastery. But just so you know, if you're not thinking about it, you take it at face value, you realize that it's right there. As a child, mind like a child. If you understand that, take it at face value. All you need to know, and this is why we've set it out, we've framed it out, we've given you the formula, the methodology, the system that is necessary for you to evolve and change in the highest level of consciousness, parallel and mimic it with the dimensions, which is part of the whole system. So you go past first level to the ninth level of the way 126, you are shifting your consciousness constantly, but you will feel it immediately, and that's the Death Star moment. The second you hit play, you're in there, you're there. It's just making you aware to it. That's what it is. Booyah. That consciousness is being given to you right there. That's all. We're just going, hello, you're right there. You don't have to think about it. Now get out your genie bottle. Get out whatever it is that you want. And I suggest that when people are there and they want to make that happen, they want to shift that miracle, that magic, that dream, whatever it is that you want to shift out into the field and have it meet to equal to or greater than and manifest into your reality, all you need to do is have your list. So you do the 126, you feel the kinesthetic charge. You cannot feel as calm and as fluid than the first time you ever experienced the wave 126, because it's instantaneous. People go, how the hell do you do that? It is instantaneous. I can't believe, because you are there. It synchronizes you. These ancient tools of sound and of vision are synchronizing you with the field. And that kinesthetic charge is the register. So all you do is go, well, Sifu said, just get your list out. I'm going to hit play. Oh, I'm there. I look at my list. I am absolutely like butter, melting butter on a frying pan. Let me see. I see it. It's in my mind. Poof, it's out there into the universe. It's out there into the field. It's already happened, because that's how it works. The imprinting, using those mirror neurons on a much deeper neurological level, understanding how you're interconnected within the field. I'm a little excited. This is kind of my bag, baby. This is the stuff that gets me absolutely fired up, because all I want to do, and all Jade wants to do, is enrich someone's perception of their reality. Open up the keys to the city. Give them what they need to be the master, the keeper, the creator of their reality at will. And that's what we do. That's what we train. And it's evident in you, because the register is, as a human being, hetero action. Remember it, understand it. What you start, you must finish. That means that you have to validate it. To validate it, for it to be real, you must feel it. When you feel it, it's manifestation time.
Mm-hmm. Exciting.
It is exciting. So this is, from a collective understanding how the DNA works, understanding how your thoughts work, your words, all of that is ingrained and imprinted into your DNA. This is a big thing. I mean, they even decoded stuff and they call it the God code, the God gene. And this is something that a lot of people are hard to deal with. I can accept it. It's just Tao. It's not God. But like some of these physicists are saying, they decoded stuff that they got off a DNA strand that literally said something like God we trust, or God whatever. God, it's in God's making, into the DNA. And so what does that mean? Now, you can take that in many different ways, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, you're a walking memory stick. You're imprinting that yourself. You could have that physicist could have easily had someone of my skill level that can actually cultivate and generate a cluster of chi and energy, imprint it with incantations, all the types of architecture that we put into our magic, and throw it out into the field, and it will find you like flies to doo-doo. So yes, do I believe that is true? 1,000%. Someone programmed that DNA. Someone programmed it. But know this, and know this to be true. You are programming your DNA all day, every day, with your thoughts, your intentions, and the feelings are altering your frequency. Mm-hmm. And so your emotions alter your feelings. Your feelings can be high, low, and your emotions are determined completely by your energy, frequency, vibration. And you want to get a higher registered emotion that will then turn into a virtue that puts you in alignment where you affect change. Understand this. It's that intricate, that detail. Those neurons are firing off, and you are replicating anything and everything around you. That's why we always talk about how children are impressionable, how if you have a child, be careful what you say to them, because their consciousness is open to anything. It's an open, the old expression, you're like an open book. Oh, yeah. And so you are imprinting your values, your belief system into your children as they grow, as they develop. And they're also contending with, and this is something that they've discovered also in the last 20, 30 years, there are generations imprinted into your DNA strands. 20 generations before you. I could tell you it's way more. I mean, we go in nines, baby. I'm telling you, there are 81, 126 generations that you are operating on that are moving and shaping your very thoughts. You're shaping your very actions. You're taking your very beliefs from past generations. Then we can go deeper into, past, present, and future readings, but that's for another time. But understanding that your generational code is affecting you today. And so changing that is up to you. Knowing the inner work is understanding that we have the secret source. We've got the formula, the methodology, the system to do exactly that, so you can be the master, the keeper, the creator of your reality instantly using our app. You download it, you subscribe to it, and blammo, in seconds, you will be there. And it trains you to be there. And so, yes, you think thoughts are going to come up. Yes, you think emotions are going to come up. Even when you master it, these things will come to your field. But guess what? It's like blammo. It's ping, pang, boom. Instantly, the second you think something or feel something that is not of value to you, you can fend it off like a fly, and it will disappear. And that's that 4-second rule that we talk about. And that's from being entrained with the synapses, the information energy highways that are created with the Wave 126. So you become the master keeper creator. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's, I think it's been really good, really great information, lots of important things that people are going to take away.
Right. So basically, in a nutshell, we've gone over, the whole expression guilty by association, understanding you are who you hang out with. This is not just an expression. This is a neurology thing. This is an energy thing. And realize that you are being affected by your thoughts. You are being affected by your emotions. You are being affected, which is evoking a feeling, which then registers in your experience. And you are altering your DNA with your thoughts alone, your experience, your environment. And that is determining whether you're well or sick. Because the telomeres that are, part of the gene, the strand of DNA, the gene expression that they've discovered in the last 20 years, you can go in there and alter the length of them. Ooh, that's a longevity gene that is blammo. It's mind-blowing. And then so you're doing that with your thoughts alone, and then externally you can take in supplementation that will elevate and lengthen and open up this gene expression also. But I'm old school. I want to do it the ancient way, the simple way. I'm the master keeper creator of my reality. I do it from here. So with that said, I feel like we've gone over a lot, understanding that association, understanding that words change, thoughts change, environment changes. Your very DNA, your neural pathways are affecting that as an individual, as a collective, instantly. And that's why it's so magical. And you are in the field. Your attention just alters what you create from wave to particle, particle to wave. It's all determined by you. Energy, frequency, vibration. So this has been very interesting, and understanding the inner mechanics of how that works. Group mentality, you've heard that expression. Mob mentality, you've heard that expression. This all comes from understanding the neural pathways and how we're all interconnected within the quantum model. So take that to the bank. Booyah. And with that, I want to thank my divine co-host, Jade, High Priestess, and sit on that for a while and roll it up and smoke it or whatever it is that you do. That's another expression. I'm sure they'll come up with where that came from. And we will go deeper into other aspects of that in future podcasts. And know that, our manual is coming out and will be available. That is basically the step-by-step guide to manifestation. And when you get the mechanics, you can't see what you've already seen. You can't unsee it. That's the whole point of it. That's how it works. It's ingrained into your DNA the second you witness it. So when I'm able to put it down in fundamental mechanisms from A to Z within a manual, and you have it, you go, oh my God, this Sifu's given me the manual. That's damn straight. And now you have it. Then when you hit play and subscribe to the Way 126, you have all the necessary mechanics that you've already imprinted within yourself just by looking at it once. It's done. It's done. It's over. It's yours. And then you make it your reality. I want to thank you, Jade. I want to thank you for sharing your time with us today. We're grateful every second of every minute. I'm your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Quinn. And we'll see you on the next one, guys.